This call is from the Legal Department of Services Australia. Your tax identification number has been suspended and we have filed a case under your name, so before this matter goes to Federal Claim Court House for you to get arrested, kindly press 1. I repeat, press 1 to know about your legal case. Thank you.
Have you received a phone call that started like that lately? A number of clients contacting our National Case Management Centre have called in because they've been caught out in what's known as the Warrant for Arrest scam that started with a phone conversation just like that one. We're going to hear from one of those clients in this podcast, and he's going to be able to share with us not just how the call unfolded and how he became involved. We're also going to learn a little bit about spoofing and things hopefully that you can look out for. So stay listening and let's meet one of our clients. We're going to call him Luke, and he's going to tell us how it started.
Basically, this voice comes on, male voice, deep, and basically says, this is an automated call from the taxation office. Your tax file number has been implicated in illegal activity. If you wish to basically have some input or, basically to do something about it before criminal charges or something like that. I had a pretty rough night, and in that I'd been up and down, and so I wasn't on my game in terms of being very sharp. Anyway, I pressed 1, as indicated, to kind of find more, and I get transferred eventually to a call operator. Anyway, so in the process, I get told that that my tax file number has been involved in an identity scam where multiple accounts have been opened and were being utilised as part of criminal activity. Of course, I'm totally aghast at and going, oh my God, of course. And that's what I meant about not being particularly at my brightest. Even from the get-go, I was starting to kind of be dubious. And I asked for, first of all, I got her name. So first of all, she tells me that basically, that my tax file number has been implicated in some kind of scam. There are multiple accounts. And I asked her for, basically a personnel ID number, which she provided, which later on made me realise that this has become a fairly sophisticated scam compared to the usual sorts of things that you get. And I was sort of going, it doesn't seem like the tax file, office to contact you this way, and I would have thought the police, if they had any questions, would come to you directly. Nonetheless, what they follow on with is asking whether you have any bank, what bank accounts you have, how many. And I said, I don't give out. I should have even finished. She said, we don't ask for your account numbers, that kind of thing. And then she said, look, I'm going to refer you to a colleague who's operating out of the Holden Hill Police Station, and they will bring you back. Expect to be called back on this number. Could you write it down? Now, I wrote it down, and I also thought, look, like I said, I was growing suspicious, and and while we were on the phone talking, there was a lot of noise in the background, actually, and it's probably just as well that her office space was incredibly noisy, because I continually had to ask her to repeat what she was saying, etc., because I couldn't hear her across the din. And so subsequently, while I was doing that, thanks to the wonders of smartphones, I Googled the Holden Hill Police Station contact number, and I got that number, and it checked out. And so meanwhile, it's actually doing a very good job of making me hang on the line, because I'm going, well, then maybe this is legit, even though it seemed a bit odd. And she'd also, the other thing too, I'd asked for a case file number for reference. She gave me that. Yeah. So again, each time I had a question, there was an answer, more or less. And that's what made me think it was a little bit more sophisticated and well scripted later on. So then anyway, she had said, look, I'm going to transfer you through, hold on the line, blah, 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 may take a few minutes, etc. And in the meantime, I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to ring them. I rang Holden Hill, and I got the usual police sort of automated message response, If this
is a life-threatening emergency, hang up and dial 000.
I got to the point where, okay, and then go online for anything else. And I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to hold on to the line just a little bit longer, and just, I don't know why I did that, but I did. And by luck, somebody picked up at the other end, one of the constables at the service desk.
Yeah.
And I spoke to her and I said, look, I've got these people who've just contacted me out of the blue, blah, blah, blah. Gave her a quick rundown. She said, yeah, look, that's definitely a scam. We won't do that. We don't contact you. We roll up. And so I thought that would be the case. And I thought that similarly the tax department would contact you officially via mail if there was anything that they required. So by that stage, when eventually I got back online and I've been transferred to Jacob Smith, who tells me that he's coming out of Holden Hill Police Station, when I said, look, I've just been in contact with Holden Hill and nobody knows anything about you. And he attempted for a little bit to continue with it, but then clearly somebody else must have been monitoring in the background, because then the line went dead.
What for you was the most believable part of the scam?
The fact that they were able to reroute a call that came up as basically the Holden Hill Police Station information line. That gave their whole thing a lot more credence. I mean, now when I look back on it, and it certainly, like I said, I had been suspicious almost from the get-go, but I nonetheless hung in there. It occurred to me totally that if you were my grandmother, for instance, you'd have had her hook, line and sinker.
This client, like many others impacted by these kinds of scams, did 3 really important steps. First, they made their own inquiries with the organisation the scammer claimed to be impersonating. Second, they refused to provide their personal information until they were absolutely sure. And third, they learned about how easy it is for scammers to impersonate police or tax authorities by spoofing their telephone number. So even if you see the number, and even if the scammer asks you to confirm the number that is shown on your mobile, always make your own inquiries first.